Subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click the super thanks button below. Pro-Iranian militias are trying to expand the war in the Middle East with the support of the Tehran government. In recent days, these Tehran-backed forces have been carrying out dangerous activities from southern Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and the Red Sea. The United States of America, on the other hand, does not refrain from making its presence felt in the region in this game against Israel. Tehran has recently started to use the Houthi rebels, one of the biggest trump cards in Yemen, against the cooperation and solidarity force formed by Israel and the United States. Most recently, the Houthi rebels hijacked a Japanese civilian transport ship that it thought belonged to Israel. Iran was humiliated in the world political and diplomatic arena after this foolish attempt. In order to recover from this humiliation and to damage the U.S.-Israeli partnership, Tehran has tried to re-engage the Houthi rebels through the Red Sea. The Houthis carried out drone strikes against Israel through the Red Sea. This attempt, which re-energized the clash area, was caught in the defense of the U.S. naval presence in the Red Sea. According to U.S. Central Command, a U.S. warship sailing in the Red Sea shot down drones fired from Houthi-controlled territory in Yemen. In a post on X, formerly called Twitter, CENTCOM confirmed that the guided missile destroyer USS Thomas Hoodner shot down multiple one-way attack drones launched from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. CENTCOM also reported no damage to the U.S. ship or injuries to the crew. Tehran was shocked, as it did not expect the U.S. to have such a defense force in the Red Sea. But U.S. naval forces in the Red Sea, including the USS Thomas Hoodner, as well as the USS Gerald Ford and the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, are actively engaged in defending from airstrikes. These powerful naval assets provide a defense mechanism in the Eastern Mediterranean and Red Sea that Tehran cannot anticipate. The USS Hoodner's interception of Iranian Houthi drones being sent into Israel is the latest concrete example of this powerful U.S. naval defense mechanism. With the U.S. interception of this Houthi attack, Iran has once again been thrust into the spotlight. These attack activities, supported by the Tehran government, have increased the U.S.-Israeli rapprochement. Before the U.S. warship shot down the Houthi drones, Israel announced that it had intercepted a cruise missile claimed by the Houthi rebels heading towards the south of the country. In other words, both the United States and Israel would never allow pro-Iranian militia forces in the Middle East. The erroneous moves made by Tehran's leadership as the war entered a critical phase also allowed their proxy forces to act as mavericks. After Israel killed 5 Hezbollah members in an attack on a house in Beit Yahun in southern Lebanon, the pro-Iranian militia mobilized for retaliatory attacks. Lebanese Hezbollah claimed to have fired 48 Katyusha rockets at an Israeli military base in the northern Israeli city of Safed. Israeli media reported that between 30 and 50 rockets were fired from Lebanon into the upper Galilee. Most of the rockets were destroyed by Israel's Iron Dome air defense systems, and fortunately no injuries were reported following these attacks. The latest assault was the largest since missile attacks between Hezbollah and Israel erupted in early October. Hezbollah's attempted attack also failed, and the situation has escalated. The Israel Defense Forces, on the other hand, continued its critical offensive activities in order to prevent Hezbollah, Tehran's trump card in southern Lebanon, from gaining a foothold. IDF forces again attacked areas close to the southern Lebanese border lines. Lebanon's official national news agency reported that the latest Israeli strikes hit a Lebanese military outpost in the southern village of Watsani, causing heavy material damage, but no casualties. Earlier, the Israeli army said it had struck several Hezbollah positions, including 3 anti-tank missile launch sites in southern Lebanon, in response to an anti-tank missile fired at a house and 2 other houses in the border town of Metula, in northern Israel. In response, Hezbollah said it had targeted Israeli soldiers in Metula and claimed the responsibility for another attack on the Israeli military base of Had al-Bustan. In the aftermath of these clashes, Hezbollah was unable to gain any advantage over Israel, but suffered heavy losses, and Iran moved again to take the reins of its militia forces. We believe that Iran did not expect such a tough defense and offensive strategy from Israel. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian arrived in Beirut on his second visit to Lebanon since the outbreak of the Hamas-Israel war on October 7th. According to Iranian and Lebanese state media reports, Minister Abdollahian met with Hassan Nasrallah, Secretary General of Hezbollah, at an undisclosed location in Lebanon. The two discussed the latest developments in the areas of clashes and in the region, as well as efforts to end the Israeli aggression in the Gaza Strip. The visit comes at a time of escalating violence on the Israel-Lebanon border between the Iranian-backed Hezbollah and Israeli forces. In this critical meeting, Iranian Foreign Minister is believed to have issued a deep warning to Hezbollah. It remains to be seen what Hezbollah's policy will be near the northern Israeli borderlines after this critical meeting. In order to predict this, it is of course necessary to take into account Hezbollah's recent closeness with Hamas. Most recently, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah met with senior Hamas officials Osama Hamdan and Khalil al-Hayya in Lebanon. According to Hezbollah's news outlet Al-Manar, the three leaders discussed the latest situation as the war continues and discussed all options on all resistance fronts, especially in Gaza. Khalil al-Hayya is the head of Arab relations for Hamas, while Hamdan is a senior member of the Hamas Bureau. The meeting came after Israel and Hamas agreed to a 4-day pause in hostilities in exchange for the release of 50 hostages in Gaza. As these remarkable meetings continue, it is important to remember that the United States has consistently backed Israel against the chaos that Tehran seeks to create in the Middle East. In addition to supporting Israel against pro-Iranian proxy militias, the United States has successfully fulfilled another critical mission in the Middle East. It was very influential in the resolution of the hostage crisis that was agreed between Israel and Hamas. As a result of the U.S. support for the resolution of the hostage crisis, Hamas released 24 hostages it had been holding captive in Gaza for weeks, and Israel, in return, released 39 Palestinian prisoners from jail in the first phase of the exchange, which offered a glimmer of hope within the 4-day ceasefire. U.S. President Joe Biden made important comments on this critical news. President Biden stated that efforts will continue in the coming days to ensure that Hamas releases more hostages and that efforts will continue to extend the 4-day temporary pause. Middle Eastern countries also shared critical assessments about the temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and the decisions agreed to resolve the hostage crisis. Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, and Egypt welcomed the Qatar-brokered agreement between Israel and Hamas to halt clashes in Gaza in exchange for the release of hostages. All three countries praised Qatar for its role in the deal. Jordan and the United Arab Emirates also congratulated Egypt and the United States for brokering the deal. In short, the pro-Iranian proxy forces were becoming weaker and weaker in the face of Israeli and U.S. solidarity, and the Tehran-based militias in the Middle East were slowly unraveling. Thank you for watching us. We work day and night to bring you the fastest and most reliable news. In order not to miss the videos prepared by our team, including the latest developments and special reports on the war in Israel, you can subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click the super thanks button below. See you in our next work.